Hello. Hello, sir. I wanted to conduct a professional interview with you. I just wanted to ask a few questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, let's start. I wanted to ask, how does your position fit into your department as an architect?
Uh,
Oh my god, my iPad just fell. Oh no. Okay.
Things happen.
Okay. My bad. I don't know why it's falling. All right there.
Okay. I guess as an architect in the department at TSGC, it's a little unique because what we teach in drafting doesn't necessarily have to have an architect teach it. I bring experience to the department as an architect as far as the work that I've done in the field, in the architectural field.
Okay, and how does critical thinking or the lack of it come into place?
Okay, critical thinking is really important because when you're looking at, you have a situation where you have a client
Okay.
that wants to do a house out in the woods.
Okay.
So you need to determine what the client wants. They're going to say, I want a kitchen, I want a bathroom, I want 2 bedrooms. Okay. Why those spaces? Why those things? And they're out in the country. They got a nice view across the valley. Do they want to? So you got to take into consideration. Do they want to have be able to look out across the valley in the evening from a porch in the back, or do they want to have their house oriented towards the east so that they get the sun in their bedroom first thing in the morning? So you need to look at things as far as what the client wants, what they tell you. Sometimes what they want, what they tell you can be 2 different things.
Yeah.
And so and then you need to take what they are thinking and put it on a piece of paper for them. And a lot of times clients don't understand basic 2D drawings. So it becomes important to make sure that you look at what they want and try to interpret that into something that they can understand. Sometimes it ends up being a 2D drawing. Sometimes it ends up being a 3D drawing, depending on who they are and what they understand.
And how does self-discipline and good management affect the flow of work on a day-to-day basis?
You can sit around and look up things on your phone all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And we all kind of do that because it's kind of fun. You get into something that you're interested in. You watch all these little videos of the Queen's Guard or the King's Guard over in London around the palace and see all the horses and the guys marching around, whatever. If you're interested in that stuff. But if you don't take the time and discipline your efforts, you waste your entire day watching some guy in a uniform march around.
For sure.
So it's real important to be disciplined and to organize your time. To-do lists, keep things organized, make sure your files are where they need to be, and make sure that you're keeping track of the different things you need to do.
Okay, and how does teamwork come into play?
That's real important too.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how you're organized. Right now, I'm a one-man office, but I team up with engineers. So it's important to make sure that in your efforts with the engineers that your drawings are coordinated, that you communicate well with them, and then the end product is a team effort to make sure it meets the needs of the clients and what they want.
And as an architect, what type of software do you use regularly, and how do you use them?
I use Revit, AutoCAD. I also use a program called DataCAD.
I've never heard of that one.
It's one of those. Well, we won't worry about DataCAD. For me, it's a nice little program. I like Revit. I have issues with AutoCAD. I think AutoCAD's a little cumbersome.
I like AutoCAD, but it's a little bit more complicated to use.
Yeah. Revit is even more complicated, but I think it's a lot more flexible.
It's easier.
I think so. I think it is easier. But it's got a lot more buttons to push.
Yes,
but that's what makes it nice and flexible. A lot of good stuff.
And how does conflict on the job affect productivity and morale?
Conflict can be a serious issue with especially on a project. I had a project where the project was about $135 million. It was on 35 acres. It had 7 different buildings, different functions. And I had a couple of guys drafting for me. And one of those 2 guys wanted everything done his way, but his way wasn't necessarily the company's way. And so it ended up, he would go in and change other people's drawings to make them the way he wanted them, as opposed to how the company wanted them.
And he was an architect as well, or you were the project manager?
Draftsman. He was a draftsman. Okay. Both of them were. And so that created a conflict in the office.
Yeah.
Because, he was going in changing stuff. And so you can't do that. And that can create problems between workers. And so things don't get done as quick as they could. Because you got to change it back if you got somebody changing.
Yeah, for sure.
That kind of.
Especially as the one running the whole entire project, you're the one that knows. I'm sorry, you're the one that knows, and it's not their job to do those little details.
Yep.
What is the most difficult decision you've had to make in terms of ethics?
Oh. I guess I would say I can't think of something on an actual ethics decision, in that I always try to do what's right.
For sure.
If there's something happening on a project, and I made a bad decision, I'm the one that needs to tell the owner that I made a bad decision.
Yeah.
And so I try to do that. I try not to lie to anybody. So.
Yeah, especially in that industry, you have to own up to your mistakes. Shouldn't blame other people. Can you describe the working culture of the organization, architectural firm?
I'm not really sure what.
Like the culture, like how like the work area is it stressful? Is it
It can be very stressful because most architectural projects are time driven.
For sure.
And depending on who the boss is and their attitude towards things, it can make a big difference in how the overall stress is. Usually with architects and architectural interns, they're usually have on a salary as opposed to paid by the hour. So it ends up where the architects and the interns work a lot more hours than the draftsmen because they aren't required to be there.
I mean, it's experience.
Yeah. So it becomes a little stressful when you're trying to get things done, and not everybody's there to help get it done.
And how could I impress an architectural firm when I first start working?
I would say make sure that you have a portfolio of the work that you've done.
Okay.
So you can show them these are the things I've done. This is the software I've used.
Okay, like my projects I've done in class and stuff.
Yeah. You could have projects that you did specifically in AutoCAD, and then projects you did specifically with Revit. And so they can see your skill level. Are you talking about impressing someone when you're going for the job or after you've got the job? Because there's two different things. If you're going for a job,
after I got the job.
Okay, usually working hard. Be willing to learn, be willing to do things, be willing to ask questions. Because you're going to be in a situation, if you go as a drafter, there's going to be a senior drafter that you'll be responsible to, and they're good or should be giving you directions as far as this is the company standard. These are the things that you need to follow, and then take the initiative to do things. They don't always have time to answer all the questions, so maybe you need to use a little bit of that critical thinking and move things forward. A lot of times, depending on the company, they'll have files of drawings that they've been using for years, or so that you can take and modify to create a new drawing for a new building. Like the doors for one office building are the same as the doors for all other office buildings, but the exterior finish
may
be different. It may be brick, it may be wood, or whatever.
And this is my final question. What are skills and experience they look for in a candidate when you're first applying for the job?
When I hired people, I was looking for someone who, demonstrated a skill level. I don't want to have to teach somebody new kinds of things. I look to see if they are up to date with how to use Revit, and I look at how they a lot of people don't like it, but we all get judged by what we wear. So I look at somebody comes in, if they're wearing blue jeans and a wrinkled shirt, even though it's a nice shirt, I give them fewer points than if someone comes in with a nice pair of slacks and a nice blouse or shirt that's been ironed.
For sure.
So all that stuff fits together. And you also try to engage the person and see how they react to you.
Emotional response.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yep.
Well, that was something that I should really take into consideration. I mean, it's going to be important for when I start working.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I needed to hear that. And thank you for taking the time to conduct this interview with me.
Oh, you're welcome. Happy to help.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Okay.